Hey there, thanks for tuning into Duckbricks and welcome to another Top 10 LEGO video. Today we'll be taking a look at LEGO Ninjago, and specifically the top 10 rarest and most expensive LEGO Ninjago sets going off of their average prices on the secondhand and current market, which is Bricklink and LEGO.com. Again, these prices could fluctuate in the future, and of course this is being filmed in 2021, so I'm not covering anything from 2022 yet, really just everything that's released up to November or December of 2021, so things could change, but at the time I'm recording this video, this list is 100% accurate. And so without further ado, I hope you enjoy, and let's kick things off with number 10. Alright, so kicking off this list at number 10, we have set number 70728, Battle for Ninjago City. It retailed for $120 in the summer of 2014, was sold on LEGO.com for approximately a year, and if you want to purchase it today, the average used price is around $141 US, while the average new price is around $198. So this is definitely a set that has somewhat appreciated in value. You can see that it is a lot more expensive, at least new compared to when it first came out, although obviously it's only number 10 on this list because a few sets have appreciated even more than this. It came with the exclusive Overlord minifigure and his evil vehicle here, not really sure what to call this exactly, but it's a very iconic vehicle that the Overlord used in the finale of Ninjago Season 3 Rebooted, as well as a couple other minifigures who we'll be looking at later in the video, but obviously, the main focus is the temple itself. The Overlord's vehicle, just to kind of take a quick look at it, is a very unorthodox villain vehicle. You can kind of move it around. It's some sort of a walker-like vehicle on click hinges. It's a very strange and odd design. Not quite sure what they are going for exactly here, but it certainly is very unique to Ninjago and was a very, very prominent figure in the actual battle as seen in Season 3. Setting it aside though, we can take a look at the temple itself. First of all, there's a bit of a play feature. There's these little discs that are mounted right in the center of the temple there, and a wheel that you can barely see in the back there. So if I get my hand back here and turn the wheel, the disc will fire out like so, just kind of a launcher function. This does not appear in the show itself, it's just kind of a additional play feature to add on to the actual play features for the temple. Moving the rocks on the front here can showcase some weapons that are hidden away, so just a nice feature, some weapons that the ninja can grab quickly at the front of the temple itself. On the back here, you can see that there's a few other actuators as we move the temple around. There's actually quite a few things you can do here. So first of all, this red button down here, so you can see that you can push this button here, actually activates some spikes that you can see on the front of the stairway there. Moving the camera down here and zooming in, you may notice that as I press the button, some spikes will pop out of the floor just to deter any attackers, which is a really fun function. If you have a minifigure standing there, you can really cause them to just pop right off the structure right there, so that is a fun thing to see. Of course, moving on to the back here, you'll notice that there are some catapults that are mounted as well, so these are very, very simple mechanisms just to activate and launch the catapults. A little bit over-engineered in my opinion, but they are fun, and there is some semblance of an interior display as well. There is a computer station here to defend the temple against the attacking ninjroids, which does make sense because this was the rebooted season, so it had to have some sort of technological aspect to it. But for the most part, this is kind of just a classic Ninjago-style temple, which honestly was a breath of fresh air compared to the other very high-tech builds that we got earlier in the year. We have a bit of a stone pot for grilling some barbecue. Now that's making me really hungry just looking at that. A place to eat, some bottles to drink from, and even some storage for other food items in here. Moving on downwards, there's a bit of a cage as well under some locked doors so you can imprison any prisoners, as well as just a very simple hiding spot for treasure. Now over here we have one of the Technic competition cannons that can be launched out of the front of the building, so let's take a look at exactly what that looks like here. You can kind of angle it and launch it like so. It actually is a very, very powerful blast that's completely tucked away, which is really fun. All in all, I do like this temple quite a bit. It is definitely one of the more rudimentary temple builds. We've gotten a lot better ones from Ninjago in the future, and you will be seeing some of those better ones later on, but for what it is, I do actually like the design quite a lot. The dragon display here on the printed windscreens is a really nice touch. I love the decal of the element there. Just feels very ornate, like a temple-like build, and of course all of the decals around, like the dragon head as well as some of the flags, really make this stand out and be very unique, especially with its dark green roof. This was one of the more iconic buildings from Season 3 of Ninjago. I do kind of wish it appeared a little bit more because the design is actually quite nice. I really do appreciate the way that it's built. And all in all, this is one of the more iconic buildings from Season 3 of Ninjago. With that, let's now take a look at the minifigures included, and that's some of the reason why this set is so expensive. Taking a look at the minifigure selection for this set, the star of the show was finally getting the Overlord in minifigure form. Of course, nowadays we have some more modern versions of the Overlord thanks to Ninjago Legacy, but back in 2014, this was the only way to get him, and hence the minifigure is incredibly rare nowadays. It was a really visually interesting design, showcasing some of the actual LEGO elements that were found on his evil vehicle as well, like those spider-like limbs, and it made for a very menacing villain design. It also came with two of basically just the standard Ninjroids, nothing too special to see there, and for the ninja side it included a brand new version of Nia in her Samurai X outfit. This one in particular was new for this set. We also got the stone armor version of Zayn, which was exclusive to just kind of that final battle for Rebooted. You can see that right here, as well as a pair of wings and a jetpack for him. Additionally, it also included a regular rebooted version of Jay. It did include some silver shoulder pads, but unfortunately it, for whatever reason, was not his stone armor version. As such, we had to wait several years until 2016 when we actually got the stone armor version from a Ninjago character encyclopedia, because for whatever reason they did not have the budget to include him in the set. Thankfully though, it also did include the stone armor version of Lloyd here, who was exclusive to the set, the silver patterning on the torso there, as well as the silver shoulder pads, which was very nice to get. But with that, we can now move on to our number 9 spot on the list. Alright, so next up here we have set number 70596, Samurai X Cave Chaos. This was introduced in 2016, in the summer of 2016, sold for around a retail price of $120 US, and came with 8 minifigs, 7 of which were exclusive to the set, and we'll be getting to those. If you want to purchase it today on the aftermarket, be prepared to spend around $170 used or $216 new. So this is absolutely a set that really has appreciated in value, and there's a good reason for it, because this is honestly one of the most interesting and best playset style Ninjago sets I have ever seen. So first of all, we start off with the front of the cave here. Much like in the TV show, it has kind of a large skeleton or bone-like creature as the entrance here. You can lift it up. It's making great use of the 2015 Bionicle G2 Toa Kopaka sword piece that just lifts up. A motorcycle can be driven out, which is a unique motorcycle build for the set, featuring some actually pretty cool parts usages in the form of the golden blades here as jet exhaust, as well as the Technic panels to really add some flavor to the motorcycle itself. Once we actually get into the main build, you'll notice that there is some semblance of a jail cell here, which can actually be moved like so you can rotate it open and shut for the jail cell. There's a helper robot hidden away. There's just all sorts of different details, and there's even references to the non-canon Ninjago comic books, with the Phantom Ninja being shown here. That's kind of a throwback, and that's really interesting to see, as well as some of the villains who are attacking the set in the form of Pythor and General Kryptor. On the other panel here, you'll notice that there is a map of Ninjago City, as well as alerting Nia that a Ninjroid has been detected. But obviously, the main centerpiece of the set can be seen in what's going on over here. So this has a super clever mechanism that honestly is one that I really enjoy. So you may notice that these are different components to a jet, and they actually are fully separate. The jet does not come fully built, it comes disassembled, like Nia is actually building it herself, and all you need to do is push down on this button, and the set will assemble it itself. So you push down on the button, the jet gets assembled, so now it's ready to take off, and then you just kind of rotate these panels outwards, and much like one of the original classic space LEGO sets, the panels just go swing outwards like this, and you have an area to launch the jet itself. This is a function that honestly is very reminiscent, as I said, to classic space sets. In fact, this exact function, which allowed you to rotate a long line outwards and allow you to pivot a platform outwards, has been seen in some of the most classic space monorail sets. The first Futuron monorail had the exact same function, just with obviously older pieces. So this was a really neat callback, and I am very happy to see a function like that, because it honestly just reminded me of some of my favorite classic space sets. Hidden away inside here are blueprints for some of the things Nia is building, which is pretty cool to see. You can see a mech here and some sort of a jetpack as well. So the mech is actually hanging on my wall right now. We'll take a look at that in a second. And the jetpack can be seen over there, which we will look at as well. So putting these back here, just kind of slot them back into place here. You'll notice that the jet can now fully take off out of the Samurai X cave, so a very cool design there. There's also a pretty neat recolor of a Technic beam in transparent blue, which is just a cool piece to get. But even besides that, there's still a lot more that we can see here. So putting the jet back, we can kind of go ahead and reset the platforms here back into their original configuration. Just a very satisfying display to see this. Moving on to the side here, you'll notice one of Nia's Samurai X outfits. This is actually introducing some recolors of the samurai armor in the dark red. It was in some collectible minifig series, but it's the first time we actually got it as part of a Samurai X outfit. And then over here we have something kind of reminiscent to LEGO Exoforce. It is a mech loading platform. So you may notice right here there's a bit of an elevator. You can move the elevator up. It actually is fully articulatable with this piston right here. And the elevator is just so you can actually load the Nia minifigure into the Samurai X mech. So that is a really cool function to see. The mech, again, as I mentioned, is on the wall. We'll be taking a look at that in a second. And over here is the booster pack element. Again, kind of familiar to Exoforce or something like that, where you can just easily remove that and take it off, and you can actually strap this onto the back of the robot, or you can use it as another component in the jet. So this is really cool. So again, you may notice the clips are on the side here. So the way that they have this set up is that if you want to swap out the way the jet is built, you can take it apart, pop it off like so, and then you can use this piece to fit on right here. So you can kind of give the jet a bit of a different look and design. And this is something that I think is just a really cool thing to have in general. You just kind of clip it on, attaches like so. And there you have it, a completely different style of jet. So a very, very fun and unique play feature for this model. This is again one of my favorite play sets for Ninjago as a whole because it's just so innovative and unique. Look at this, you can have this one split up as well into 3 sections. So again, if you want to just have this jet component here, you place the back engine on here first, then you place this jet part here, place the front of the jet here, you press this down and squeeze it all together, and now it is all fully one build. What a unique play feature. I really love the way that they actually did this. It allows for so many different configurations, and I do wish that they would do more stuff like this in official Ninjago sets because that's just such a cool design to have. Here's my wall of Ninjago hero mechs, and you can see that the Samurai X mech from this set is just kind of tucked away there. It's a very, very simple design, but it works very well for the set's concept in general. And of course, you can see that clip on the top there is specifically designed to be able to attach other pieces of the jet onto it to really make it part of one modular system. So I think it's really cool that LEGO actually did something like this. I love that whole system for play, and I'm very happy with it as the part of the official set. With that though, let's now take a look at some of the minifigures that were exclusive to the set because there are quite a few different figures here that make the set truly very special. On the villain side of things, we got our Day of the Departed version of Pythor here. He's wearing the robes that could be actually seen in the original rebooted season, so they kind of brought that back as somewhat of a legacy design. It's a nice design to get and a very exclusive minifigure, also featuring that exclusive transparent neon green snake staff. We also got the new Day of the Departed version of General Kozu, who I will say actually might even be a little bit cooler than the original version, given that they introduced a lot more red and black into his color scheme rather than just making him a plain red figure. Alongside him was one of the Stone Warriors who again was reintroduced for Day of the Departed. It's the one in the middle here, again focusing heavily on the red and black color scheme instead of the red and gray. Moving onwards, we got General Krypt as well. So this was the Legacy or Day of the Departed version of General Krypt. He had a slightly updated print on the eyepiece there, as well as a new torso and slightly different print for the armor as well. On the ninja side of things, we got our Day of the Departed version of Wu, so just a very simple one there. It was also the one they used for the Hands of Time season, as well as some of the other ninjas. So of course Nia features in the set because it is her focus set, so there she is in her honor robe right there for the Day of the Departed wave, but it also included Jay in the honor robe as well, a slightly different variant of it actually because they specifically included one with a half mask instead of the main hood, so that one did set it apart as being completely different, as well as the Lloyd minifigure in his honor robe as well, which you can see right here. It's essentially supposed to be a what if Lloyd had the original ninja gi that they used in 2011, so I do really like the design for what it is. All in all, this is probably, as you can tell, one of my favorite Ninjago sets in general. I am kind of sad that it only got a pretty short limited release, not really sure how popular it was, but I am very, very happy with it, and of course this did introduce quite a few exclusive minifigs as well. But moving on to our number 8 spot on the list, we have set number 2521, Lightning Dragon Battle. It was released in 2011 for a retail price of $80 US. It only was sold, depending on your region, for around 2 to 4 months, so a very short lifespan, although this was a Toys R Us exclusive, so it was sold for a little bit longer in Toys R Us, but of course that made it a lot rarer for people to obtain. It came with basically the largest version of any of the 2011 dragons, and today, if you want to buy it used, be prepared to spend around $173, and the value new is around $250. So this set absolutely has increased in value, appreciated in terms of the value of the set and the rarity of the set, and it also came with a somewhat non-canon, or at least we never saw it in the TV show, Skulkin Helicopter, which you can see right here, featuring one of the villains as well. So this was a pretty fun 2-pack in terms of having a vehicle for the ninja to fight in the form of the helicopter here, which actually is designed pretty well. I love the way the skeleton face is mounted on the front of the helicopter. It's just a really fun design in general. But of course, the star of the show is the Lightning Dragon here. It is easily the largest and most impressive of all the dragons. One thing I really like about this one, at least compared to the other 2011 dragons, is the amount of articulation you can get out of different spots along the torso. As you can see here, the torso really can bend. You can get this really moving almost in a snake-like manner, very much like a traditional Chinese or Japanese style of dragon with a very long body and snaky limbs, so I really do like it. And of course, it looks really good alongside the other dragon as well, especially the dragon from that year. You can see Kai's here, Zayn's, Cole's, and Jay's. All of them look very nice flying in formation, and this is easily the most impressive of them all. The set also included 4 minifigures, one of which was exclusive to the set. The minifigure selection included Wu in his black suit for the summer wave of 2011 sets. Of course, it also had to include Jay in his Dragon Master or DX form, and on the villain side, we got the Cruncha Skeleton General, who actually also included a transparent neon green spinner. This was an exclusive spinner for him, so it was nice to see that included here, as well as just one of the minions in the form of Fracjaw. But with that, we can now move on to our next pick on the list. Alright, next up we have set number 70626. This is the Dawn of Iron Doom. It was released in January of 2017, retailed for $60 but today, if you want to purchase a used copy, be prepared to spend over $174, and a new copy will set you back around $221. So this is absolutely a set that kind of has skyrocketed in value since it first came out, mostly because of the minifigure selection, which we're going to be getting to later on in the video, but also due to the fact that this is a pretty iconic vehicle in Ninjago history. It's something that still is kind of cropping up in different forms of media today, and just last year for the 10th anniversary of Ninjago, we got a whole special celebrating this kind of vehicle. It appeared in 2 different Ninjago Legacy shorts, so it kind of makes sense that this would be a very popular vehicle to get. Now, to be completely honest, I am not the biggest fan of this side build. It feels just kind of something that's very much thrown together, which I do understand is kind of the point of this build. It's to actually feel like it's been cobbled together out of wood and spare pieces, but I'm just not the biggest fan of the aesthetic in general, although I do understand there are some good things about it. For instance, there's a fun play feature here. You can really cause the thing to smash down the vermilion egg here by just rotating the flag, and what's also really nice is that this combines with some of the other sets. You see there are clip elements on the bottom of this piece right here, which combines with one of these smaller sets, so it is nice to get that as part of this model here. So just a nice thing to have in general, but honestly the focus of the set is obviously the title of the set, the Iron Doom itself. And while this is not one of the more refined snake mechs we've gotten, I think that LEGO could definitely do a lot better today. It easily is one of the more interesting sets of its time and one of the more interesting Ninjago mechs in general. This is a really cool set because you can see that it is fully the snake-like build of the mech right here. You can see all of the details. It really feels like these snakes are actually coming inside the mech and causing it to be powered with the CCBS armor pieces here, snakes kind of coming out of it in that side. And what's nice is that these swords in the back can be mounted on the back, but also held in the hands itself in case you wanted to actually hold its sword elements. You can just kind of have it grasp the swords like so. Kind of a little bit awkward in the way that they're held, especially because they're so close to the body, it's really easy to kind of get them knocked out of place, but for the most part, it is a very nice looking build, a fun build for a villain vehicle, and certainly something that feels very unique compared to other Ninjago sets. On the back here, a gear can be used to actuate the spinning time clock once you place all 4 time blades into the center, so that is a cool feature to get. And all in all, this is a very fun villain build for a massive mech. Of course, though, I think the stars of the show for the set were the minifigs, so let's go ahead and take a look at those right now, because there's honestly not too much else to be said about this mech in general. In terms of the minifigure selection, easily the rarest figures and ones that are most sought after are the Time Twins, both of which were exclusive and included in the set. You can see Krypt and Acronix right here. They had their hoods as well as hair pieces, which was a really nice touch and definitely makes them one of the rarest figures in Ninjago, or at least some of the rarest figures. It also included one of the Vermilion Generals, just kind of a minion right here, as well as the Master Wu figure who returned from the Day of the Departed wave, which you can see right here, as well as 2 of the ninjas. So we got Lloyd in his Hands of Time outfit, like so, as well as Jay in his Hands of Time outfit, and to be honest, I am a big fan of the Hands of Time outfits. I really love the detailing and the darker, more muted colors on them. Some of my favorite outfits that we've gotten from Ninjago yet, so it's really cool to see them featured in this set as well. But with that, we can now move on to our next spot on the list after wrapping up this particular set, the Dawn of Iron Doom, which looks very menacing hanging on the ceiling, just looming over the heroes. Alright, so next up here we have set number 70738. This is the City of Sticks, and yeah, it barely fits in my review studio because it's just that tall. It was sold for $100 in 2016. It was on the market for around a year. It also was a Toys R Us exclusive and Shop at Home exclusive, but if you want to pick it up today, be prepared to spend around $178 used or $188 new. So this has almost doubled in value, which is pretty insane. It specifically is supposed to represent the ghostly, infected, or haunted version of the City of Sticks, so it's nice to see that here, and it does make a lot of sense that this set has appreciated in value because it had a fairly limited release, obviously being a Toys R Us exclusive, and overall is just one of the largest sets from the Possession wave as a whole. In addition to the main city build and Nia's side vehicle, the set also included a ghostly boat. This actually was very prominently featured in the TV series as the possessed version of one of the boats from Cloud Kingdom, so really cool to see that. It actually includes a specially molded or cut fabric sail, so very nice to see a brand new element introduced for the set and remains exclusive to this. And the boat itself is actually built pretty nicely. I'm a big fan of the ghostly colors and the general concept of a flying ghost boat, so this is a really cool design. I'm happy it actually made it into the set and also made it into the show, unlike Nia's vehicle. Going back to the set itself, it actually is packed with all sorts of relevant details to the TV show, which is really nice to see because it was a very prominent location in Season 5. First of all, we have a windmill, which makes sense because Mojo is the master of wind, so you want to see some wind action like so pretty nice to see that. It's a very simple build, but definitely is very unique to this set. Obviously, there's just a few different gangplanks here, some cracked rock elements, and even some of the strangleweed making its way up through the top here, which is really cool because it actually makes sense in the show itself. Moving onwards to this main building here, this actually packs in quite a few different details. Starting off with the bottom layer here, you'll notice that it has some sort of a rocky gateway. What's cool is that you can actually actuate this from the bottom. It's a bit of a hideaway for ghosts or other villains, but you move this open and it opens like this, so it's somewhat of a jail-like element, but also a cool sliding door that is built into the set. Upwards to the main level here, you can see this actually is Ronin's pawn shop. It even has his sign for Ronin's right there. It comes with a copy of Klaus's Book of Spells, so that is a cool inclusion to see here. Very nice to actually see this included as an official LEGO piece, although we did actually get a legacy version very recently, which actually was using the newer minifig book piece that figures can actually hold, so that was an improvement, but it was nice to get it here as well. Going on to the inside of Ronin's shop, actually moving this banner out of the way here, you'll notice all sorts of different treasures. There's a golden dragon statue, an arrow blade, a bit of a nice carpet, and even one of the disguise pieces. This is a mustache with a top hat, which actually also appeared in Ronin's shop in the Ninjago City garden set as well. Of course, in true Ronin fashion, there is a hidden compartment for just a few different things here and there. This one actually included a few technological components, not quite sure what those are supposed to represent, but it's just nice to see some different and fun detailing to make its way throughout this set as a whole. Going on to the upper levels here, this is a very simple kind of room here. It's just super standard in terms of having a chair and a place to sit, plus some cups, but it does also include a trapdoor, so you can move this around and fall directly into Ronin's shop down below. And finally, the very top point here was a place where the ninja could actually battle for the Scroll of Airjitsu, as well as the Sword of Sanctuary, so cool to see some detailings here. And of course, the top spire, which was very prominent in the show itself, is actually just one of the construction limb elements, as well as a Zammersphere launcher from Bionicle, which can be angled to actually launch the ghostly projectile like so it's pretty cool to see that actually make its way into the show design itself for being just a kind of random play feature. All in all, this is a very interesting Ninjago set. It is a villain-focused base-like building, but it really is just supposed to be also kind of just a generic style of city building for the City of Styx. I always love it when Ninjago does kind of weird locations like this. Lastly, this was one of only 2 sets to include the possessed evil green ninja Maro figure, which you can see here featuring a specially dual-molded head component and armor component, as well as the ghostly forms of Wraith and Gultar, you can see them right here, plus 2 different kind of standard ghost henchmen, one right here on the corner and one with the hat right here, as well as on the ninja side we got Nia in her Samurai X outfit returning from the Season 4 wave, as well as just the standard Deepstone variants of Kai and Jay. So you can see Kai here and Jay right here. With that though, we can now move on to our next pick on the list. Next up, coming in at number 5, we have set number 70618. This is the Ninjago movie version of the Destiny's Bounty. It retailed for $160 all the way back in 2017 and was on store shelves and on LEGO.com for 2 years, making it one of the longest lifespans of any set on the list, but that certainly did nothing to impact the value, because if you want to purchase it today, be prepared to spend around $184 used and $233 new. So this has absolutely greatly appreciated in value, and there's a reason for it. It's because it easily is hands down the best Destiny's Bounty we've ever gotten. While the recent Legacy Bounty may be the best in terms of depicting the TV show vehicle, this is easily the most detailed with the most interior space, as well as easily being the best build out of all of them. And of course it makes sense because it was from the Ninjago movie line. So taking a closer look here, you can see that there's all sorts of different detailing on the deck here as well. You have a lot of deck space on the top there. You even have the anchor down here where you can display, if you want to, a minifigure who's just falling from the ship as well, so that's kind of a fun detail you can include there. As well as, of course, on the cockpit section here, there's a lot of interior detail that really makes this model stand out as being something truly special. But let's now take this down and take a look at the inside, because there's a lot of really nice stuff to see here. Here we have the massive Destiny's Bounty itself, and this truly deserves its $160 price tag at retail, and honestly I would say even kind of deserves the $228 price that you have to pay for it new nowadays on Bricklink, because this is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Ninjago set basically ever. So moving it all around, you'll notice that there's a lot of interior space here. Let's just kind of remove layers and layers, because there's a lot of hidden details here. First off, you can kind of just separate out this whole piece right here. You can see that it does fold up, so you can actually get some look at the inside here, but this is basically just the captain's quarters, or where you steer the ship. It is a very prominent location as seen in the TV show as well, so it's nice to see that, despite this originating for the Ninjago movie. Going on into this section, we now have revealed that there is a full-on dojo inside this entire vessel, with a lot of weapons mounted on the walls, lots of different weaponry here for the ninja to use, as well as a scroll, so this is a cool area for the ninja to train in inside the ship itself. Moving onwards to the inside here, all of this stuff will come off as well, so you can actually remove this panel here, and inside the ship are all sorts of references to the Ninjago TV show itself, which is actually a really nice touch, especially given that this was a movie-styled set. Inside you can see an Anaconda helmet, Nodocon's Sword of Souls, some other weapons here and there, as well as a bed for the ninja. On this side there's a Vermilion armor piece, an arrow blade, and the Shurikens of Ice, so cool details to see in the show. Rotating this all the way around though, there's still quite a few more details. Right there you can see what appears to be Wu's letter to Misako, as well as a portrait featuring all the ninja in their TV show outfits, Lord Garmadon's skull helmet, as well as some other detailing just for the ninja to be able to live inside the boat, including a sink and toilet. So this really does feel like a lived-in space. I'm a big fan of how this one turned out, and of course, even moving up to the rest of the deck here, there's still some other details. You can really lift these up and reveal some hidden details and compartments all just underneath the panels here. A Wu trading card card as well. So all in all, this is just a really fantastically done vessel. It easily is the most detailed version of the Destiny's Bounty we've ever gotten, featuring all sorts of fun detailing, as well as just a lot of nods to the TV show, which again are really nice to see, especially in a movie-styled vehicle. In addition to being a fantastic build, the set also included 7 different minifigures. Of course, these were based around the Ninjago movie line, but we'll take a look at those right now. The Destiny's Bounty included the entire ninja team for the movies. So here we have the movie versions of Kai, Jay, Cole, Zayn down here, as well as Lloyd and Nia, so really nice to get all the different movie versions of these characters all in one set as well, so we have the entire ninja team from just one set, which is very nice to get. It also included Master Wu in his movie outfit with the cloth skirt element, so this was a really nice figure to get, and those were basically all the figures, all 7 members of the ninja team, which makes total sense to include in the Destiny's Bounty. But with that, we can now move on to number 4. Alright, but coming in at number 4 on the list, we actually have a currently available set. It again is only on the list because of its price. This is Ninjago City Gardens. It was released just last year for $300 US, so you can just go ahead and buy it new from Shop at Home today for $300. Now this is a set that I really suspect will absolutely appreciate in value. It is one of the largest and most expensive Ninjago sets ever, and if Ninjago City is anything to go by, this is not going to stay this cheap the moment it gets discontinued. So I'd recommend if you want a copy of this set, you should pick it up right now because this will probably grow to be one of the most valuable Ninjago sets yet. So I have done a ton of videos on this, so there really isn't any point in rehashing all of those videos, but just as a quick recap, it is really nice because it includes a full museum level with a lot of Easter eggs to the Ninjago TV show. You go all the way down, you have some older LEGO theme references in the form of the Ice Planet ice cream shop here, and even down here you have stuff like Ronin's pawn shop, a statue for Zayn in the back there, as well as just different tea shops and tea houses for the streets of Ninjago City. Even all the way at the top, there are some references to Season 12 Prime Empire in the arcade near the top there, as well as a large tower for the ninja to hang out in. The set came with a whopping 22 minifigures, 19 of which were exclusive to the set. Obviously, the main one was a golden legacy version of Master Wu celebrating 10 years of Ninjago, which you can see right here, one of the most valuable figures from the set itself, but it also came with a version of each of the ninja. For Kai and Zayn, we just got them in their standard legacy outfits, which to be honest, wasn't too interesting. It was just basically the standard ones we have been seeing since 2019, so nothing too crazy there. However, there were different outfits for all the other characters. Jay in particular got a brand new torso design for a casual outfit, and Nia also got a casual design which can be seen right here, which is reminiscent to her casual movie outfit, which was fairly similar but actually did include printed pants. For Cole, we also got a casual outfit right here, although the torso is not actually unique to the set itself. And for Lloyd, we got an actual kid version of him. This was special to the Ninjago City Garden set, featuring the older style of hairpiece he had as a child. Now moving on, we actually got quite a few different side characters as well. For the first time since 2016, we got a Ronin minifigure. This is a legacy version of Ronin, which is very similar to his original 2015 outfit, but just slightly updated. We also got a Clutch Powers minifigure. It's very similar to the older one that we got in 2019, except he has a handbag instead of a belt this time. Next up, we also had a new version of Misako in just a slightly differently colored coat, so kind of a coat that she wears over the inner jacket right there. And we also got a villain minifigure that we've actually been needing for quite a while now. The mechanic first appeared in Season 6 Skybound, he recently reappeared in Season 12, and we finally got him as well as one of his henchmen in the set itself. Aside from them, we also got a host of different random civilian figures, some of which can be seen right here, which some of them were exclusive to the set, but honestly are not too interesting compared to the other figures that we were able to get in this set. And lastly, not sure if they can quite be counted as figures, but we also got a statue version of Zayn, which is based off of his rebooted statue, which you can see right here, as well as a casual version of Master Chen, who's actually just supposed to be at the top of a storefront, which we could have seen in Season 4 Tournament of Elements at the top of the Master Chen Noodle House restaurants, which we can see right here alongside his main version. But with that, let's now move on to our number 3 spot on the list, which is still barely more expensive than this set. Alright, and making our number 3 spot on the list, we have set number 70751. This is the Temple of Airjitsu. It retailed for $200 in the summer of 2015 and was sold on LEGO.com as a direct-to-consumer set for approximately 2 years. Nowadays, however, the price has skyrocketed in value. If you want a used copy of the set, it barely edges out the Ninjago City Gardens and is worth $304 US on average from Bricklink used. However, a new copy will set you back around $375. So this has almost again doubled in value from its original point, and again, this was one of the first Ninjago direct-to-consumer sets, so that makes it extra special. Some very nice side buildings as well, and add to the fact that it was a very prominent building in the TV show and actually became the ninja headquarters throughout Day of the Departed and Season 7, and that all makes this temple a very, very special set. So my version of the temple has actually been somewhat modified. I have raised it up a little bit and added some rock work to the base to make it a little bit more accurate to the show itself. You can see an image on screen right now of the official set. It's not too different, I just made some very minor modifications, but I do just kind of want to point that out. However, I do think it's a good idea to start off by taking a look at some of these side builds here, because these are actually quite high quality for just being some standard side builds. This building in particular really reminds me of stuff like the medieval market village. It features some somewhat European architecture, which is interesting to see in a Ninjago set. I really love the style of the building artwork and the way that the wood brown pieces kind of encircle the lighter blue elements, and of course that decal on the door is really nice as well. It seems to be some sort of a house or living situation for the groundskeepers of the Temple of Airjitsu, so very nice to see this kind of design here. I really like the anvil detailing inside, plus a little bit of a furnace as well to really make this feel like a lived-in building. The next building up here, setting the bridge aside as well, is also kind of a very nice little marketplace stall here. It doesn't really make too much sense in show to have a market be around the Temple of Airjitsu, but I guess it's fine for being in the set itself. I love how they utilize the garage door pieces as actual roof pieces, so that's a really nice usage. We also saw that in the Destiny's Bounty as well. And inside you can see them selling all sorts of different fruits and vegetables and bread, as well as a bit of a sink with a great parts usage of the miner's hat being used as the bowl of the sink there. Of course though, the main attraction is the Temple of Airjitsu itself, and this is easily one of the most ornate temples we've ever gotten from Ninjago. So moving this a little bit closer here just so we can see all the details, you'll notice that the temple is somewhat of a facade. It's not fully closed up, but for the most part you can see that it is basically almost a full temple, and if you were to buy multiples of this you could easily close it up as well. On the back here you'll notice that there's a lot of interior space. I liked they actually included some large training grounds as the temple grounds here. Also you have a bit of a training room in the center here, so some nice weaponry being kept there. Moving on upwards, there's a little bit of a study for Master Wu with some books. Let me just actually put that piece down here. I actually used this as part of one of my winter villages back in the day, so there's still some fake snow that's scattered around the set, but you can see that right there. And there's even a little box at the top for Cole's stuff. What's really nice is at the bottom, there's actually a really cool play feature. There is a light brick embedded in the set to actually have some sort of a shadow play. It's a little bit hard to see on the camera right now, and the light is not at its strongest, but the way that this works is that you are intentionally supposed to push this in like so, and there's a bit of a display featuring the legend of the two brothers. It essentially just tells the story of the Spinjitzu Master and Wu and Garmadon, so it's a really nice play feature, and all in all, this is probably one of the most detailed Ninjago temples yet. I'm a big fan of the way this one turned out, and it obviously set the precedent for Ninjago direct-to-consumer sets from now all the way into the future. Now, the set did include quite a few minifigures, so let's go ahead and take a look at those right now. The Temple of Airjitsu was another set that included the entire ninja team in their most accurate and current up-to-date outfits at the time, so the Deepstone outfits for every single ninja were included in the set, which is really nice to see the entire ninja team actually being featured in one single set, because if you buy the set then you have the entire team, including Nia, who had just joined the team for Season 5 Possession. All 6 ninja were included. We also got an exclusive version of Master Wu, which is the outfit that he wore throughout most of Season 5 Possession, a very nicely detailed tan and gold outfit, as well as getting Misako for the first time in a LEGO set. This is one of the only sets she appeared in. It was only this and Ninjago City Gardens, so it was nice to get her as a character being very prominent in the TV show itself. Secondly, we also got Darrett, who appeared for the first time in a standard retail set. We previously got him in a polybag that came out around 2014, but this was the first time we actually got him in a standard retail set. Additionally, we got a few different civilians as well. These were basically just standard civilian minifigures, but it was nice as a sort of introduction to the Ninjago civilian sector of things, as well as getting the Postman figure for the first time as well, who is an icon of Ninjago, having appeared in most of the seasons. But with that, we can now move on from this set and talk about the top 2 on the list, and move on to number 2. And coming in at number 2, we have set number 70657. This is Ninjago City Docks. It retailed for around $230 in the summer of 2018 and currently is available for around $450 used or $510 new. So again, this is one of the entries in the Ninjago City lineup, which absolutely has appreciated in value, especially because just last year we got our 3rd expansion in the form of the City Gardens. So a lot of people have been buying this up to complete their Ninjago City collection. Now this has all sorts of really great details, so let's take a look at that right now. So first of all, you may notice that this is the Explorians logo from the original sub-theme of older classic style of space, and of course when we look inside this first building here, you may notice that this is a newsstand-like building. So we've got some newspapers on the sides of the window here. These are specifically tied into the Ninjago movie. Of course, in the TV show, everyone knows who the ninja are, but in the movie, nobody knew who they are. So secret identity kind of references there, as well as just kind of being a tea shop as well, what seems to be something like it. So you've got all sorts of different teas and even a drawer that's opened up, so some nice interior detailing here. Moving onwards to our next location here, you can see that this is a map building. Now I have removed one of the maps on the wall, and you can see it right here because this is the map of Matanui, the island from LEGO Bionicle, so of course I had to remove it and place it on my own Matanui map mosaic, which makes sense. Of course, there are some other pictures, including a reference to the Destiny's Bounty, which we just looked at. This again is probably the one that's tied into most of the movie. A lot of these references are specifically supposed to be based on the movie, versus the other two that kind of can stand on their own a little bit. This one is very, very much geared towards being like for the movie. So we've got a nice little living quarters here, including the TV show for the Good Day Ninjago right there, as well as just some small living quarters and a bunk bed. I just like the style of this house in general. It just feels very cozy to me in particular. And moving on to this building right here, we can now take a look at the interior. This one is specifically designed to be some sort of an arcade, so it is the second arcade we've gotten, including some really great references. First of all, we have a reference to the Starfarer show, which was the original Jay's parent Cliff Gordon show, which we actually got a few peeks at in seasons 1 and even in season 6. And this is a reference to Bionicle Generation 2. It is the Mask of Ultimate Power. We never actually got that as a physical design in the sets. Apparently the designers had to fight hard to include this because for legal reasons they had to approve the design, which is very strange, kind of an odd reference to have to actually fight to include, but I'm very glad they included it because, yes, technically the Mask of Ultimate Power has now appeared in some sort of a set form. The arcades themselves are some nice references to other stuff in Ninjago, but of course we can now move on to Grand Sensei Darrett's Mojo Dojo here. This is featuring the same exact sign that is part of the TV show, so thankfully this is actually a reference to the TV series, and you can see all sorts of different Ninja Dojo-like elements inside, but of course the main element to this is the sticker on the sign, which again is directly taken from the TV show. With all that removed, we have a bit of a market area here at the bottom. Let's just get some of this stuff out of the way, but you can see a chicken or turkey being sold right there. Some nice fresh fruits and whatnot, just kind of a nice market area. Of course, the main focus is on the docks themselves, so we have a bit of a boat here as well to kind of go on the outside. And on the other side as well, we've got some other buildings, just some really nice small details here and there, including a stoneworker's shop, which can be seen right here. But with that, we can now move on to the minifigures of Ninjago City Docks, of which, again, like many of the other Ninjago City sets, there are quite a few. In terms of minifigures, Ninjago City Docks contains a whopping 14 minifigs, 11 of which were exclusive to the set. Although they mostly take the form of just random civilians here and there, we got a lot of Ninjago movie-styled civilians with the Ninjago City Docks. However, we did get a few named characters from the TV show. In particular, we got Darrett, who basically was just the same one that we got in the previous set. However, this time he had a black suit, which was not unique to him. The black suit was kind of a Woo Crew-like training suit that was used by most of the ninja characters, so honestly, not a very interesting figure. It kind of just feels like an excuse to include Darrett in the set without making a new print for him. That being said, we also did get the little Nelson minifigure, who also has a white Woo Crew suit, so that one again was not exclusive to him, but he did come with his hairpiece, which is a nice inclusion, plus the little bandage, which makes sense for the TV show itself. And technically, we did get Mistake in this set, although unfortunately, she doesn't really bear any close resemblance to her TV show counterpart. It's not very obviously even supposed to be Mistake. It's this character right here. I guess you can make the argument that it somewhat resembles her, and obviously the torso is correct, but the face print and the hairpiece just is not quite right for the figure, so I guess that's the Ninjago movie version of her. Would have been nice to get something a little more accurate, though. Moving onwards, we also did get the movie version of Garmadon in the set, albeit without his long flowing robes, which was unfortunate. I do really like the design that comes with the robes, although unfortunately the robed Garmadon was exclusive to just the Green Ninja Mech Dragon. And of course, to battle him, we just had the standard Ninjago movie version of Lloyd as well, who we've seen a ton of times before. With that though, we can now move on because there's still one more set.
For this honorable mention, I did want to mention this one set. It was originally retailing for $20 and also sold as a free gift at Toys R Us, which of course is now defunct in the US. This is particularly notable, and I did want to bring it up because while it barely was edged out of the list by some more expensive entries, this, for retailing for only $20, has truly appreciated in value because it included 4 very desirable and exclusive minifigs. First off, you can see the white version of General Krypt here, who appeared first in Season 6 Skybound and still is appearing to this day in Season 12. It also included one of the missing Elemental Masters, in particular Neuro, the Master of Mind, you can see in the middle right here. The golden Digiverse version of Kai, who appeared very briefly in an episode of Ninjago Rebooted, but this is a very special exclusive outfit for him. And lastly, it included a young version of Crux, who you can see right alongside his older version here, featuring some slightly different printing. For retailing for only $20 US, this minifigure pack now sells for $120 new or used, which is a major increase in price, and just something I felt at least deserved a shout out on the list for just how much it appreciates in value.
We can now move on because there's still one more set to our #1 most rare Ninjago set that has ever come out. And this probably won't come as a surprise to anybody, but coming in at #1 for the rarest and most expensive LEGO Ninjago set, this is set number 70620, Ninjago City. Released in 2017, it retailed for $300 US and was sold for approximately 2 years on Shop at Home, which again meant it had a pretty long lifespan, but that did not stop the set from doubling in value. Right now, if you want to purchase a used copy of the set, be prepared to spend around $600 US, and a new copy will set you back around $660, if not more. So this is absolutely one of the valuable Ninjago sets that truly has increased and skyrocketed since its inception. And of course, this set the precedent for what the Ninjago City sub-theme of sets are, because this was truly one of the best Ninjago sets, or probably one of the best sets that they ever did for Ninjago at the time. So obviously this set is meant to be compatible with the other LEGO modular buildings. Of course, the LEGO modular buildings are a very popular series in their own right. Some of the most valuable LEGO sets in general are of the modular buildings. But this in particular set its own style for Ninjago, which was really nice to see, and again, really set the precedent for future installments of the Ninjago City series, whether they be the docks or the gardens right behind it. Ninjago City is very special because it has a ton of references to older LEGO themes, just some fun stuff here and there. For instance, check out this very fun LEGO Galador poster on the side of the window there. Up at the top here, we have some Bionicle references with the Borok logo and the Glatorian Battle Arena logo, so cool stuff to see all around. And it really is truly fantastically detailed from the top to the bottom. I really love the ocean-like or lake-like design for the water here. It is really multi-layered, so you can see different layers in the water, which is really special. Of course, moving on upwards, there's a lot of really nice details like a tea shop, a small place for minifigures to enjoy some tea, and then upwards we have a crab restaurant, the comic book store featuring the Mother Doomsday minifigure from the TV show, as well as just some really great detailing in the store here, just all sorts of different designs and things that they introduced for Ninjago City that truly makes this one of the best Ninjago sets ever. I'm very happy to have this in my collection. It looks stunning next to Ninjago City Gardens,
And this I would absolutely recommend for anybody collecting Ninjago. This is basically the premier Ninjago set that you can get. You will have to pay quite a lot of money for it, but honestly, it's worth it because this is truly an amazing build. Ninjago City contained a whopping 19 minifigures. Much like Ninjago City Docs, a lot of these were civilians, although we did get quite a few nice new civilian prints. This one in particular for a character named Ivy stands out as being a really nicely designed figure in general with the torso and legs. And we also just got a ton of random civilians which can be seen somewhat around here, including this guy in a pink shirt, which also is unique to the set. For the set, we also got a special torso for one of the kids, featuring the golden or green ninja from the Season 2 lineup of the Ninjago TV show, so nice to see that. But of course, for the main characters, we actually did get a few of them as well. We got the Ninjago movie version of Misako, or as she was called in the movie, just Coco. It's the middle one right here in the green outfit. Not a print that is especially unique to the set, but it is nice to get that character again. And we also did get a more casual version of Lloyd as well, particularly this character right here. You can see him in the casual outfit there, as well as a casual version for the Ninjago movie version of Kai. This one was very special because he actually did include arm printing, which was very unique and made the figure that much more special. We got the standard Jay in his ninja outfit, so nothing too crazy there, as well as one of the Shark Army minions. You can see him right here. So again, just a very standard minion design, but it's nice to get different characters included in this set. And all in all, that was the minifigure selection for Ninjago City. But that about sums up this list of the rarest Ninjago sets.
Alright, and with that, we have summed up the top 10 rarest and most expensive LEGO Ninjago sets. Let me know down in the comments below, do you own any of these? Do you want any of these? And did any of these picks personally surprise you? Because honestly, I was surprised by some of these. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for even more LEGO news, reviews, discussion, and analyses coming your way very soon. Thanks, and bye-bye for now.